Hello everybody, and welcome. When I was asked to respond to the idea of a phenomenal people, or specifically a phenomenal woman, I was slightly overwhelmed by the potential choice of incredible women who have really inspired me. And I immediately started to think of the big names, the kind of poets and novelists and artists. And it was when I was looking at potentially doing a piece about George Eliot, I came across one of her quotes, which then, after I'd read it, made me think, oh, maybe I'd like to do something about a little person who kind of hasn't made a big impact on the world historically, but who has made a big impact on the small amount of people around her. So the quote goes like this: "Her full nature spent itself in channels which had no great name on earth, but the effect of her being on those around her was incalculably diffusive. For the growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts." It's May 5th, 1941, the height of the German Luftwaffe's bombing raids, or blitzkriegs, on the strategic port town of Liverpool. At 27 Gonville Road, Bootle, the entire Murphy family, Irish immigrants who've moved to England in search of work and a better life, are huddled in the cellar of their terraced house. There's the matriarch Alice, the father Tom, Eileen and Agnes, John, Charles, Thomas, Patrick, Patricia, Philomena, Lucy, Margaret, James and Edward. But there's one missing, however: my great-aunt Veronica, or Auntie V, as she's known. She's 19 years old, and she's sitting in the front parlour of the house at the piano. "If I'm going to die," she said, "I'd like to die in the comfort of my own front room and not huddled in a cold cellar." And considering that Bootle was one of the most heavily bombed places outside of London during the war, with 90% of buildings being damaged, it shows that she wasn't averse to taking a risk in life. And as the bombs rain down, she sits at the piano and she sings a song of longing for home. Years later, at the grand old age of 89, she is still singing on the other side of the world. And she has sung through it all, through a dreadfully unhappy first marriage to Ken when she was a young woman, through miscarrying twins on the bathroom floor, all of her sisters waiting at the locked door that she refused to open, through demanding and getting a divorce, practically unheard of for an Irish Catholic in the 1940s, through all of her solo cycling trips across the UK, clocking up hundreds of miles on the open road, through meeting the rakish and handsome RAF pilot Reg and discovering their love of travel together, through marrying and moving with him to Hong Kong, where she bore 4 beautiful daughters, living a glamorous expat lifestyle, dining with movie stars and politicians, through Reg's growing alcoholism and his eventual job loss as a consequence, leaving them destitute in a foreign country, to making the decision to move to Australia with her family to start afresh, and watching her daughters grow up there into lovely young women, educated and with so many opportunities afforded to them. Through Reg's sad decline into alcohol abuse, which led to his death. Through meeting Barry, her companion in later life, her soulmate, with whom she shared many happy years before he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and she became his full-time carer. Through herself suffering a stroke and recovering from it, to then being diagnosed with bowel cancer at the age of 78, and then surprising us all by recovering from it by 80. Auntie V is a bit of a mythical figure in our family. She's a bit of a talisman, or should I say taliswoman, for my sister and myself. The woman with a glint in her eye and a wicked sense of humour, who broke out against the odds of her time, who always trod her own path in life and refused to care what other people thought. She's always said to me that life is not a rehearsal. And she's inspired me to follow my dreams, to travel the world, to be creative and not to compromise. And I spoke to her this week, and she was on great form, and I asked her to sing to me down the telephone, and she was very reluctant to do so, saying that since the chemotherapy her voice has been ruined and she doesn't have the range that she once had. But I think she sounded grand. Now, she lives in a quiet suburb of Sydney, 9,753 miles away from where she was born. But she still misses home. She misses the cold and the rain and her childhood memories of the lush green fields of Ireland. And she said that when she dies, she'd like her ashes to be scattered there. But I hope that that won't be for a good while yet.
I'll take you home again, Kathleen, across the oceans wild and wide, to where your heart has ever been, since first you were my blushing bride. The roses all have left your cheeks, I've seen them die and fade away. Your voice is sad whene'er you speak, and the tears begin your loving eyes. Oh, I will take you back, Kathleen, to where your heart will feel no pain. And when the fields are fresh and green, I will take you back again, Kathleen.